And hello again, everybody. This is again Tyrone Glover, and I am now with a better camera. So thank you everyone for attending. If you are there, we are greatly appreciative of having you there. Pardon the slight delay in getting the process started. We have been working with some technical difficulties, but we are there now. So we should have no more going forward. Obviously, if you watched the video yesterday, you saw that it was a bit grainy. We worked on making sure that we got a camera so that everything now looks accordingly. So again, thank you very much. For those of you who are attending, we appreciate it. Those of you who might be coming in a little bit later, we look forward to seeing you. My name is Tyrone Glover, and I am the CEO of Leverage Credit Recovery. Primarily, what we do here is we help consumers with gaining a better understanding as to what's in their credit profile, how to read your reports coming from Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian, how to also dispute any erroneous errors, whatever you might not understand within your credit profile. We are here to assist to make sure that we can help you with gaining the credit profile that you're obtaining or wanting to obtain. Credit is important. Cash is king. However, credit is power. The more credit you have, the more you are, shall we say, in a better situation when it comes to, one, owning a home, two, buying a car, three, renting an apartment, four, getting a credit card with a lower interest rate, utilities, getting a cell phone, you name it. Today, it's almost nearly impossible without having a decent credit profile that you more than likely would be turned down. A decent credit profile basically starts at roughly around 650, at 650 points across the board. You may have noticed that some of these credit profiles or some of your information coming from Equifax, TransUnion, Experian, it all varies, and it shouldn't vary that much. But I've been seeing where, say, Equifax has throwing out a random number, 625. You could see on your TransUnion where it's 515 or somewhere in that area. What shouldn't happen is you shouldn't have a huge influx between credit reporting agencies. I don't call them bureaus for a reason, because they're not bureaus. Bureaus was a term that was used to kind of confuse consumers as to thinking that these are government agencies. These are not government agencies. Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian are privately held companies. They make billions of dollars off of selling our information. And a lot of that money that they're making, they're selling a lot of false information. So you, the consumer, are the one who's going to be the one hitting, or actually taking the biggest hit when it comes to you gaining access to, as I stated before, credit, which is, again, you're looking at buying a home. Are you going to be able to get into that home? They're going to run your credit. You're looking at buying a car. Are you going to be able to get that car that you're wanting? Not the car that you're going to have to settle for based on your credit, but the car that you actually want. I'm sure most of you have seen the TV ads that come across. You see the Lexus ads, you see the Cadillac ads, you see the Lincoln ads, you see the Toyota ads, and they're all so fabulously designed, showing you these $199, $349 price ranges where your monthly payments would be. But that is for someone who has exceptional credit. And why wouldn't you want to be in a category where your car payment or your car note is $200 or $249? I think everyone should be wanting a car note that's in that range. When you're looking at paying $700 and $800 for a car payment with no insurance, you got to remember, you're still going to have to add insurance onto that car payment. So that's going to add another, depending on what your driving record is, that's going to add another $300 to $500. And hopefully that your driving record is good, because if not, it could actually go up even higher than that. So you're looking at $800, $700 for a car payment, add on another $500. You're right now paying $1,200 for a car. $1,200 actually is a mortgage or it's a rent. Why would you want to put that on your plate? Adding to it, of course, your rent. If you are renting, if you are owning, paying a mortgage upwards of $1,200, you're now paying $1,200 for rent or mortgage, and you're also paying roughly about $1,200 for a car. Folks, we got to figure it out. If you're paying that much for your credit products and services, you really should be looking at what's inside your credit profile. We here at Leverage Credit Recovery are specialists in making sure you, the consumer, have a great understanding about your credit profile. We are a teaching company. Our whole platform is based on teaching you, the consumer, how to read, understand, negotiate, dispute, and make sure that your credit profile is who you are. It makes us not one bit of difference if Equifax, TransUnion, Experian are telling the world out there who you are, but you yourself don't even know who you are. So first and foremost, we always want to tell everybody, get a copy of your credit profile. Annualcreditreport.com. Annualcreditreport.com is an excellent place to get just your credit report. Again, that's annualcreditreport.com. From there, you can obtain from all three, Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian, your credit report. You will not be able to get your score from there because the only thing that they provide you is just your credit report. You can also go to a variety of other free credit reports online. One of the companies that we use so diligently is Privacy Guard. And the reason why we use Privacy Guard is because it integrates very well with our system that allows for us to generate, one, your free credit audit, because it's very important to know in black and white, what are you working with? What are the issues in your credit report that allows you, the consumer, to now know exactly what you have to be working towards in order to get those things removed from your credit report. Late payments, huge item on credit reports. And it's not because you purposely meant to go out and miss payments. No, due to the economic climate that we find ourselves in, we've actually found ourselves since almost 2008 that the economic climate has not been very favorable for many of us. So late payments do happen. Say, for instance, you had a repossession, meaning your vehicle was repossessed, whether you did voluntarily or whether you had an individual show up at the house and do one of those hook it up and drive away while in the middle of the night when you were sleeping. That's called a repo as well. So you have a voluntary repo where you give it back to the dealership, or you have where the, I guess they're called repo men, go out, search the neighborhood, find the vehicle, hook it up, take it, and then you have to deal with the circumstances afterwards. My whole point is this, folks. If you're not doing your part, nothing is going to change. Your credit profiles will stay the same. You'll be waiting 7 years for items to fall off your credit report, or you can do what we have now helped literally hundreds of consumers with, regaining full credit access by just doing the very basics. Looking at your credit profile, deleting or removing items off that credit profile which do not have to be there. Now, there's a lot of, shall we say, myths out there, and we're here to debunk those myths. You got to read what's in a lot of the laws that protect us as consumers. And one of those laws that it's basically stating, items on your credit report can, and that's the important part about what we're talking about here today, is items can stay on, negative items, excuse me, I want to repeat that, negative items can stay on your credit report for up to 7 years. Now, operative word being can, because the English dictionary tells us that can is not a definitive word. Now, had it said items on your credit report must stay on there for 7 years, then there's really not much we can do, or much you can do, because that must is a definitive word. But being that the verbiage is can, we're getting duped by a lot of these companies out there that are not removing items off your credit report. So it's critically important to understand what that difference is. Can and must does not mean that the item can stay there. So what we're basically instructing or helping you with understanding is that you have to dispute them off. You have to take the initiative to dispute those items off your credit report. And it's very, 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 very simple. It's finding a company that you, the consumer, will hold accountable to your success. Because we here at Leverage Credit Recovery, we are going to hold you accountable for making sure that we're doing what you are asking us to do. We are a business that is consumer friendly, and we are here to make sure that the consumer is fully educated on the understandings of credit, fully educated on being able to read and understand their credit profiles, and fully educated on the dispute process. Everything on your credit report can be disputed. Clearly, we are talking about negative items. Positive items, as long as they're good, you're good to go. There's nothing that you have to worry about positive items. That's a good thing. Negative items, obviously, those are the discrepancies that we want to dive into. And if an item is off 1 penny, that is a discrepancy. If you can't remember, that is a discrepancy. A lot of the accounts that are on there, some of them might even be over these 7 years. And you got to also remember too, statute of limitations in each state is different. So some of your items on your credit report could probably already come off with just 1 round of disputes. We're not guaranteeing anything in that regards. We can't make that guarantee, because if we were to make that guarantee, I'd be telling you right now, run, because that's not what we do here. What we do here is we help you to understand that you have to take the initiative. You have to allow for the process to work, because the process does work. After the first go or the first round, giving up is not an option. You got to remember something here. Now, this is a little secret that not very many people like to share. Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian, that's 3 companies, Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian, they charge. Now, whether it's Toyota, whether it's Nissan, whether it's Honda, whether it's Chrysler, BMW, Mercedes, Audi, it doesn't matter which finance company you go through, those companies, they have to pay a fee every single time you, the consumer, dispute an item on your credit report. Now, I'm using those companies because auto dealerships tend to be one of the larger ones that are on individuals' credit profiles, mainly in the inquiry section. You got to be really, really careful when you're looking at your inquiries, or when you're going to a dealership and having a dealer run your credit. A lot of dealers are doing things that are highly questionable when it comes to running a consumer's credit. And one of those things that I'm going to indicate is that they have you sign the paper. Paper indicates that we're going to be doing a credit check. They already know the ranges, 350 to 850. So they know which banks they're going to be working with, but they get you into the store or into the dealership, and they have you doing the waiting game, the back and forth, the back and forth, the back and forth. Oh, we got to talk to the finance manager, back and forth, back and forth. They already know what your score is because they ran it that one time. So they don't have to search 8 and 9 and 10 and sometimes 12 banks, which is ultimately doing you harm, because that's 12 inquiries now for one purchase. And then they use this whole fictitious notion that, say you go out and you need to, whatever reason, you need to buy a bed and you want to finance that bed. Now, instead of having 1 credit inquiry from that dealership, you now have 12, plus you're now going to get another one. And it all depends on, again, what bank they decide to go to as well. You can get up to 2, 3, 4, 5, depending on, again, what they do. My whole point is, please be careful when you are inquiring for products and services related to credit. Inquiries take a huge hit on your credit profile. Those items can also be deleted. Inquiries can remain on your report for up to 2 years. Again, if a dealership does something that's highly questionable, you should be asking them beforehand, who are you running my credit through? How many times will you be running my credit? If you go to the dealership with a current copy of your credit profile, then you have the ball in your court. You can tell them, here's my credit profile. I don't need you to run my credit. Oh, but we're going to insist we need to, blase, blase. They really don't. If they want to do a deal, they'll take your credit report. You, the consumer, have to be back in control. Stop giving up your control. You're not in any rush to get that car. More than likely, it's a want than it is a need. Now, I understand the needs. If you need to get a car, yes, but please be diligent about it. Do your searches at least a month ahead of time. Start looking ahead of time. Don't do any inquiries, but start looking. Start gauging, where is my credit profile? Am I even in the range of being able to look? Don't get caught up into, oh my God, I need. We really don't need. We really need to do a better job at making sure that we're fully equipped for the experts. And I'm calling them experts because they know exactly how to make you and your money part from each other. So we really got to do a better job. So as I stated, inquiries can stay on your report for up to 2 years. Getting back to, again, we talked about the dealerships, those autos that end up on your car. Say, for instance, you have to, for whatever reason, you have to voluntarily give that car up. That voluntary repossession, or say the repo man shows up at the house, knocks at the door, nobody's there, sees the car in the driveway, hooks it up, drives off. You're now dealing with a repossession that's on your credit profile. Got to remember something too. What happens when an item is repossessed? That item goes through what we call it gets resold. So there's a difference that's now in the hands of the dealer. Not the dealer, but the repossessions, whether that is the contractual repossession from the bank, whether that's a contractual repossession from the dealership. Again, not 100% sure, but more than likely it's going to come from the institution in which they financed it, because they're now going to take back their product because you, the consumer, has failed to continue with the contractual understanding. My whole point is this. Once that item is repossessed, it shows up on your credit report, you can still get that item off your credit report. It's no definitive in how long a negative item can stay on your report. The law states, again, can stay on your report for up to 7 years. Inquiries can stay on your report for up to 2. Now, I talked about just repossessions. You have items called collections. Collections is when an account is open, a regular account. You open it by Bank of America. You open it by, a lot of the young ladies love Victoria's Secrets. A lot of us guys like to go to Express. These individuals have their own cards. Some of them also have cards that are linked to Visa and MasterCard. So again, whether you get a store card or whether you get a card that is linked to a credit amount that you can go out and you can go to an ATM and take out money, regardless. What happens if you choose not to, or if you can't, for whatever reason, meet those contractual obligations, then those items then do fall into a collection status. Now you got to remember, banks can write off their items, and it's called a charge-off, write-off, loss, profit and loss, charge-off, write-off. So they can write off those items 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. The longest time frame that they'll wait is 120 days. Once that 120 days has come, they can write those items off. And a lot of us are even experiencing it now. If you carry a high balance on a credit card, you probably already have seen that balance get reduced, or shall we say your limit get reduced. If you had a $3,000 limit and for whatever reason you had maxed it out, it was at $3,000 and you got it down to say $2,500, that's still way too high. If you think about $3,000, $2,500, you're roughly at 75% of your utilization. That's too high. You want to be somewhere in the 23%. So what we do here at Leverage is we teach you. We have to teach our public about how to use credit responsibly. Back to the collections piece. So it goes into collections. Once it's in collections, that means someone else is now coming after you for that difference. Now we hear a lot about, oh, it's the original creditor that's coming after you for that difference. Let me tell you, as a military guy, yes, I've served in the military for 4 years and 9 months. I am a veteran. My primary role in the military, as well as my 28 years serving in the private sector for various retail establishments, roughly about 19 of those retail establishments, my primary role was profit and loss, inventory. So I got to see firsthand how things get written off. And whether or not it's a damaged item, whether it's, say, instance, a refrigerator, bottle of Coca-Cola, spaghetti sauce, it doesn't matter. If an item is damaged, the location or the institution has a means of being able to write that off. And if you really want to get technical about it, you can go to the IRS. I believe that is code 534. If I'm not 100% correct, I will be checking it out. And the next time we have one of these, I'll tell you exactly what it is. It's an IRS code that is related to bad debt deduction. So even if the IRS code that I gave you, I think it's 524 or 542, I'm not 100% sure, but as I stated, I will have it for you in our next live. You can go to bad debt deduction, and from there, you'll be able to see exactly what I'm referring to as to this piece of what businesses can take as a deduction. They take that bad debt deduction, they're actually reducing what the actual amount is. Now, in this country, businesses are literally almost getting back 100% of their loss. So if they're going to take 100% of that loss in a bad debt deduction, you technically don't owe anything. So you're being guilted into thinking that the item that's on your credit report is still an active amount that you still need to pay. Unfortunately, that's not the case, folks. Again, myths are being busted here at Leverage Credit Recovery. We're giving you, the consumer, back the control. We're giving you, the consumer, the understanding that you should have had before we even went out there into the world of wanting things on credit. Had we known about a lot of these contractual obligations that really should work in our favor, but unfortunately they're working in the bank's favors on interest rates that we should not be accepting. If you're getting anything with an interest rate that's 12%, 15%, 18%, you should really be reconsidering that interest rate. That is too high. Think about this for a second. The interest rate to date, I believe it is somewhere around 2.25. I think it did go up a 0.05, so it's probably at 2.30. They're borrowing this money. So take it into, let's put that into dollars. You got $2.30. If you take that interest rate and just put it into a dollar, that's $2.30. They're then borrowing that money from the feds or from other banks at that rate, $2.30. And then they're turning around and they're selling it to you, the consumer, at $15, at $18, at $20. And you're subjecting yourself to this enormous gap from what they got it at, which is nothing, or not nothing. I won't say nothing. I'd say what they paid for it, which was $2.30. And now they're selling it to you for 18 bucks. Are they making a pretty penny? Yes, they are. Now, say for instance, now we're going to use just a credit card, for instance. Say for instance, you miss a payment. That credit card, if you were at 18, 19, 20%, that credit card is going to jump all the way up to 24.99%. That means, again, $2.30 is what they got the item for. Then you got it from them at 18. You missed the payment. Now it's up to 24.99%. Would you say the banks have been making out for some time? Now think about this for a second. Congress, and I believe, I'm not exactly sure as to the time frame, but I'm 52 now, and I would say about 8 to 10 years ago, it used to be as high as 34.99%. Thanks to Congress, which not the functioning Congress that we have currently, they did get it down to 24.99%. But that's still entirely too high when you think about that individuals are, meaning individuals, companies are borrowing from the feds at 2 or 3%. My whole thing is you, the consumer, have to understand what you're getting into. Anything over for a car, anything over 10%, reconsider. For a credit card, anything over 8%, reconsider. And one of the best things to do to establish credit or to get credit is, one, opening a bank account. That's a perfect way of getting a good establishment with a financial institution. 2, get a secured card. Now, a secured card you can find anywhere. Securedcards.com, NerdWallet. There, just type in secured cards, secured credit cards, and you'll get a plethora of listings. What you want to be careful of is when you're getting a secured credit card, because you got to remember, that's your money. The secured credit card is your money. You're putting your money onto a secured credit card, and you're using it as if it were a regular credit card. $400, $500, all depends on what your pocket allows for you to put onto a secured credit card. Once you have that secured credit card, you're going to use it just like a regular credit card. You're going to be making your payment, but the only difference is the bank's only going to get, or the issuer of that credit card is going to be either MasterCard, Visa. I think Discover has one as well. I believe American Express is also getting into the secured realm. So there are a few major companies that are in the secured realm, but there are also a lot of, shall we say, not individuals, but now different companies also in the financial realm that are also equally getting into that secured realm. So a secured credit card is an excellent way of reestablishing and also establishing credit. We're going to constantly keep talking about what we do here, because this live forum is specifically for that reason. It is to introduce ourselves to you, the public, and it's also to get you to understand you now have a place where you can go and get educated. We are not here selling. There are no obligations. We're not here to send you down any false roads of misunderstandings. Our whole intent is to educate the public on a variety of different credit understandings and to help you, the consumer, with gaining the credit access that you're entitled to. No one in this country should be dealing with high interest rates based on erroneous or even errors inside their credit profiles. We, the consumers, have to do better. We, the consumers, need companies like Leverage Credit Recovery to assist with their credit understandings and needs. I'm not going to take anything away from my brothers and sisters who are also sharing this credit space. They do an excellent job out there. Should you choose to go with one of them, we are congratulating you because you're doing something. But should you choose to work with us, Leverage Credit Recovery, then we're here for you. We're here to make sure that you have a great, educated understanding about your credit profile, because ultimately, you're the one who is going to have to obviously make those payments. And if you make those payments accordingly, then you'll have nothing to worry about. If you can meet your contractual relations and obligations, you again have absolutely nothing to worry about. Our job here again is to help you with understanding your credit profile. Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian, all for-profit companies. These companies make billions of dollars. Billions, would it be, of dollars. They pay millions of dollars in fines on a yearly basis. And again, just like with anything else, they get to write off those millions of dollars in fines because that's a loss to their business. So really, if you're making billions, paying millions, and you turn around and write it off, you're basically, that's a wash. So please, let's not take this for granted. Leverage Credit Recovery is here to assist. We are here to make sure that we can answer your questions in relations to credit. We're not mortgage brokers. We're not investment brokers. We don't do stocks, bonds, things of that nature. So if you're coming to us with those questions, do we have individuals that we could then turn you over to? Absolutely. We're partnering with a variety of different financial companies that would allow for you, the consumer, to get a better understanding of what you need. But it starts with a baseline. It starts with a foundation, and we will help you create that foundation. We won't build your house for you, but we'll provide you with every resource and tool you need to get that house up in the manner in which you want it. Whether you're building a studio or whether you're building a palatial mansion, it doesn't matter. Our job is to help you with the foundation. We create the foundation for you that allows you to go out there and build the house that you want. My name is Tyrone Glover. I am the CEO of Leverage Credit Recovery. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for allowing me 30 minutes of your time on this fabulous platform YouTube has created. And I look forward to assisting you and yours in all of your credit understandings. Thank you so much again. We look forward to our next 30 minutes. Again, my apologies for not being here at the 6 o'clock time frame as we have instructed or as we has passed out there. But our job, again, is to make sure that you, the consumer, has what you need, the understanding of credit. Thank you once more. I look forward to talking to you again in the next day, because these are twice a day. We do one at 12:30 to 1 o'clock, and we do another one at 6 to 6:30. This is Real Talk featuring Tyrone Glover, Leverage Credit Recovery CEO. Thanks again, everyone. Have a great and wonderful evening. Be safe and travel well. Bye now.
Wow.